Hey readers!
Caelyn's YouTube.
So happy Halloween, guys! So for this video, I wanted to go ahead and do the spooky, scary writing tag from Emma T. Fink, it looks like. I found out about this from watching one of Jenna Moressi's videos and decided it looked like a lot of fun, and it was a good reason to do my eyeliner as heavy as I could manage and throw on my green lipstick, which I don't get to wear very often. So question number 1 is titled Ghost, and it says, have you ever originally put a character, scene, or theme in the book and then later taken it out? So for my current work in progress, I actually just cut my book in half and rewrote some important scenes, put some new scenes back in, but mostly deleted a lot of what I hadn't realized at the time was fluff. So that's about 70,000 words worth of scenes, characters, and the original theme that I hacked to pieces and took the good stuff and basically started all over. The main character is now stronger and more badass. The best friend is now more emotionally supportive, and the love interest is less of your stereotypical macho guy, which I wrote years ago back when I was dating a guy like that and it seemed super sexy, and now it seems vaguely toxic, and I wanted to write a healthier romance. So yeah, I actually cut a lot out recently. Number 2, Bat. Most misunderstood character in your work in progress. This could easily go to my villain, which I'm currently trying to fix. Apparently she is too cartoonishly evil, so I'm fleshing her out a bit more. But my beta readers think that she is not diabolical enough and instead is more the maniacal cackling type, which there is actually a scene where she maniacally cackles, so I'm trying to pull back and give her some more humanizing qualities. Jack-o'-lantern, what's your most common source of inspiration to write? If I'm understanding the question correctly, I want to say more of the fairy tale or mythical creature type. I grew up on The Legend of Zelda, on Disney movies, on Mario and Princess Peach, the Dragon Quest / Dragon Warrior video game series, which is a lot like Final Fantasy. So very much so the princess who needs saving, but as the decades wore on, more often than not could save herself, but maybe needed a little help doing it. But certainly, definitely like the fairy tale, maybe more of a modern twist on that. But I like princes and princesses and dragons and potions and maybe a vampire here and there, not in my current work in progress, but I was super into Twilight when I was a kid. And while I don't think it stood the test of time, that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it, and doesn't mean I wouldn't be willing to explore that myself a little bit. Aliens, to a certain extent. My dad really got me into sci-fi. Superheroes, absolutely. Because of that, my dad was a super huge comic book fan when he was a kid, and he's actually super religious, which I maybe didn't follow in his footsteps, but I respect his beliefs. But that being said, one of the few things that wasn't religious that we could watch when I was a kid before I got out on my own was superhero movies, because he was such a die-hard comic fan, which I always found vaguely hilarious. Like, the only secular thing we were allowed to watch was superhero movies. So that played a big part in my writing style and what I love to write and the kind of characters that I like to write. And even now as an adult, that I have my own freedom to watch whatever movies I want and TV shows and read books and stuff without any supervision. Like, I love my dad very, very much, and even though we have differing opinions, his love for comic book series and that influence on my childhood will always have a special place in my heart. Zombie. Preferred form of writerly fuel. Coffee, tea, etc. Coffee. Coffee, coffee, coffee. If you know me at all, you know that I love coffee. I collect coffee mugs, especially geeky ones. Oh my god, all the geeky coffee mugs. And I just feel like a zombie without it, which I think is the inspiration behind this question, and how perfect is that? I need coffee to get started on my day, much less churn out that scene that is just gripping or heart-rending or what have you. Definitely coffee. I do like tea in the evenings though to relax me, but coffee is my jam. Vampire. Cheesiest trope that made it into your novel. Probably my villain being the cartoonish bad guy, like I said, which I am trying to fix, so hopefully it doesn't stay in the novel. One of the things I held on to for a really, really long time, even in the editing phase, which I finally decided to cut out because it just wasn't working and it was so cliched, was the chosen one trope. My hero is very, very much born into this role, and then the story happened to her, and it took a long time to edit it and make it into something where she was happening to the story, where she was making her own destiny come true, and maybe she was born with this heritage of greatness, but ultimately it was what she made of it and how she worked with it that made the story what it was. Spider. What's a character in your work in progress that's fine from afar, but you would not want to interact with if they ever got close? Probably Ashlyn, the best friend, which is another character I am currently editing and working on, especially taking into account my beta readers' feedback, because she seems like the world's best friend and would sacrifice anything for the main character, but under the surface has very little going for her. So I'm working really, really hard to flesh her out so she is her own character. Don't judge me too hard, guys, because I am working on it. I am fixing it. But as of right now, she's definitely a sidekick. Absolutely there just to serve the purpose of the main character and help her out in her adventure. I wouldn't want to be friends with someone like that in real life. Frankenstein's monster. Ever combine two characters into one, split one character into two? There's two evil scientists in my novel that originally were one evil scientist that was doing all of his experiments on the main character, Sephora, and eventually I just decided that I wanted it to be two characters. One of them was kinder and more understanding of her situation, and that really juxtaposed the other one's character and shone a light on his greediness, the other doctor's greediness, and his overall arc as a villain. Skeleton. Best tips for adding in character baggage without info dumping. Sprinkle it in as it becomes relevant. I gave someone advice, at least what I thought was good advice, what I was hoping for would be good advice, would be like, as he's running away from the bad guy and he's struggling to do so because he has a limp, maybe add a short little blurb about how he injured his leg in the war. Or if the main character is having a fight with the love interest because they're too closed off to open themselves up to a new romance, when they're making up, have the main character explain that they had really shitty parents and have a hard time trusting people, as opposed to just paragraphs on the first page or in the first chapter saying this is their entire lineage and life history and every shitty thing they ever went through. Just as it comes up, be like, this happened and that's why they're this way. Action, 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 dialogue, character interaction, and then, oh, this is relevant now. This is why they're like this. I think is how I've always found it to be. Sorry, my cat is under my chair, guys. Apophis, why are you always interrupting my YouTube videos? Say hi, Apophis. Hi, Apophis. Hi, Apophis. No? Okay. Cat! Oh my gosh, this is totally ironic. Hi, Apophis. I have a cat. The cat question. Guys, how perfect is that? I did not plan this. He just, like, walked from the other room and camped out under my chair. So I picked him up right before the cat question. You little fucker. I think he knew, guys. I think he understood. I think he knew. Okay, so what does the question say? Cat. What's a polarizing writing / bookish opinion that you have? Probably that stories should have a happy ending. And before you absolutely destroy me in the comments, I understand that that is something that most people want. And I am certainly not in the minority here, but I was in a long-term relationship where my significant other at the time was very much of the opinion that if you liked something bad, it made you cool. If you liked something that everyone else didn't like, it made you cool. And all of his friends were like that too. So I got sucked into this community where liking shitty movies and books and such with unorthodox endings was the popular thing to do, or the whatever. To each his own. I don't fault him for that. Something that my current fiance says is Hitler ate sugar, and that doesn't make sugar evil. So if you're like that, then whatever, but for me it's kind of a trigger point. And before I met him, and certainly after I met him, is definitely that I love happy endings. And whilst I was coerced into believing that they are stupid for a few years of my life, that desire for happy endings has never left me and is part of who I am. Hi, Apophis. And last question, Demon. Most frequent writing distraction? Probably Instagram. I love writing. I love the feeling that writing gives me. But generally when I wake up, I want something to just numb my brain for a little while until I at least get breakfast and coffee in me. And once I sit down and start watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever for the half hour I've intended to do so while I'm waking up, and also scrolling through my phone because I'm fidgety and have to have something to do while I'm already doing something, I tend to get pulled into all the pretty pictures on Instagram. Also, this works for Twitter or Facebook or even just the show that I'm watching at the time, but more often than not, it's frickin' Instagram. So, booktubers, I really enjoyed doing this Halloween spooky scary tag. I nominate all of you to do so. I hope to see your videos in the future. I hope you liked mine. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, the evil Instagram from Question 10, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye!